Hey everyone, my name is Johnny and I'm a musician from Toronto, Canada. And today I just wanted to share a bit of a review on a daily planner that I've been using for the past 3 months called the High Performance Planner by Brendon Burchard. And yeah, I just kind of finished the last page the other day, so I thought I would just share my review on it and what I thought about it, and I hope you enjoy. So I first heard of this daily planner through a Toronto comedian that I follow called NeemaNaz. He's really cool. He's always posting a lot of content. He's a young kind of comedian, and I was really impressed with the amount of content that he's constantly putting out and just his whole outlook on life. And it was kind of refreshing to see, aside from just having great, funny content. And I remember one day he just casually, showed this book and was like, I owe a lot to this book. That's how I get a lot of things done. So I went and looked it up, and I think a lot of other people did too. And I was kind of like, well, it'd be worth a try. I was in a bit of a low period, I guess you can say, because of the whole pandemic, and I'm a musician that hasn't been working in a while, publicly. So it was just kind of a weird time, and I figured like anything would help. So I looked up some reviews actually on YouTube, and a lot of people really liked it. So I just ordered it on Amazon, and long story short, I really love this planner. It helped me so much. And I'll just kind of tell you a little bit about why I liked it. So Brendon Burchard is an author. He wrote the book High Performance Habits and is a high performance coach. And apparently this is a spin-off of that book, which I haven't read. So this is my take on it without having read his book. I know he references a lot to points in the book, but I still got so much out of this book without having read it. So pretty much what this is a daily planner, and every day has 2 sides to the day. And there's enough pages in here for 3 months worth of days. So yeah, now that I'm done, I gotta start another book. So it starts off with this life assessment section, and it tells you to assess your life based on a number system between 1 to 10. So there's categories like health, mental, emotional, family, friends, mission in life. And it was kind of interesting because as I was filling this out, like I said, I was in a bit of a low point. It was in January, and it was just after the holidays. My grandfather had just passed away, and no live music in sight. So it was a weird time. And a lot of my responses, I'm not going to show you this, it's a little personal to be honest, but I had a lot of 1s and 2s, a lot of very low rankings in my life. And what that immediately did was just kind of get me to realize like, whoa, I'm actually kind of need work in these areas. And that was just a bit of an eye-opener right off the bat. Then it has a whole other section, high performance habits, that you fill out, and pretty much you're just ranking your life as it currently is before you're starting this. So that's a bit of an eye-opener, and it asks you ideas to improve in any of these areas. What I did notice though is that I bought this book on Amazon, and when I grabbed another one, this one here, it's the next one I'm starting, it had a whole other section that wasn't in my first one. So I feel like maybe I grabbed like an earlier version of it, but there's this whole section here that has your life vision, primary aspirations. So I'm really looking forward to this. And yeah, a lot of people might think, oh, it's work, but yeah, okay, you got to put in maybe an hour off the bat to really assess your life, like minimum, or it might take a day or two, but it's very worth it because it's just kind of kicking you into gear to dealing with the rest of the book. So after you fill out that beginning part, that might be a bit of an eye opener to you as well. Then you start getting into the daily planner, and I'll use the other book because the pages are empty. But yeah, this book pretty much, before you start a month, you get the month ahead and you kind of plan out. So it has the major projects that you need to get done this month, major events, things that must happen this month, major deadlines of the month, and things that you can prepare for. I would feel like I'm living my best life this month if and then you fill it out. So it really just gets you to kind of reflect on the month ahead. Then you got the week ahead. This section wasn't included in my first book either. So it was kind of weird. I don't know what I got there, but it was a little different. Then you get into the daily ledger here, and like I said, this is a full day here, so it's 2 pages, and it might seem like a lot of work. Like when you look at my old one, it looks like there's a lot of kind of writing and stuff, and there is, but it maybe takes about 15 minutes in the morning to fill out. And what I really like about it is that you're kind of forced to answer these questions and fill out a daily schedule for every hour of the day. And once again, that was a bit of an eye-opener because as soon as you have to fill your day with things, especially being an out-of-work musician right now, you really start to realize how much time, you've been wasting and how much actual time you have to do everything you want. And there's really no excuse aside from yourself getting motivated. So that was really cool. And it asks you questions every morning, part of your morning mindset. And the questions include, one thing I can get excited about today is, if one word could describe the kind of person I want to be today, that word is. And there's a lot of stuff. Someone who needs me on my A game. A situation that might stress me out or trip me up today could be. And the way my best self would deal with that is. So you're faced with a lot of questions that kind of prepare you for the rest of the day. And one question I really like is, one thing I can do today that's a little outside of my comfort zone is to. So it's really trying to push you to grow as a person. And like I said, when you're faced with a daily schedule on what you're gonna do every hour of the day, you're really forced to just fill the day with things. And yeah, I found I started filling my day with things that I really needed to get done that I just kept procrastinating with and putting off. So I would say the first month was really me just kind of catching up on all the little things around my place that needed to get done. There were some renos that were done and a lot of cleaning that needed to be done and reorganizing. So that was kind of the first month, just getting all the things I'd been putting aside, dealing with those. Then after the first month is done, you have to do a bit of a month review. And that was cool because you reassess your life. And I started noticing that on the number system between 1 and 10, my numbers were increasing. So I felt, a little more satisfied in certain areas of my life, which I thought was great. And that made me want to work even more towards them. And even some of the ones that were low on the 1 to 10 ranking, it kind of makes you look at those and figure out ways to improve. So for example, in the health category, I was pretty low. I was at like a 2 or a 3 when I first started. And even after the first month, I still was. I was eating poorly and just a lot of kind of eating late at night. I wasn't exercising. I hadn't exercised in a few years, like legitimately exercised. So the second month, when I reanalyzed it, I noticed, my health is still, I'm ranking it pretty low. So I thought I would just change it. And I changed my eating habits and really started exercising every day. And it was just purely based on me self-assessing myself. And I really like that way of kind of growing and learning about yourself, because it's the only way. If someone tells you that, you're not going to want to do it. So I really found that this was helpful in me figuring things out. It also got me to do a lot of things that I always wanted to do. For example, this YouTube channel was purely based on this. I'd always wanted to do a YouTube channel. I didn't know what I wanted to do it on. And I just had this book and it said, what's one thing that would put you out of your comfort zone? And I remember thinking, I was like, recording a YouTube video and posting it and then sharing it on social media, it made me so nervous. I had serious anxiety. I still do every week that I post this video. But to be honest, the fact that I already anticipate that feeling and write it down at the beginning of the day, it makes me actually look forward to it now. And I feel like you can really accomplish anything with this book, or at least with the habits that this book kind of instills in you. And as I said, at the beginning of the day, you kind of fill out these morning mindset questions. You also fill out, it says today's message to myself. So looking at some of my past messages to myself in the morning, I would kind of psych myself into being positive. I'm not going to share too much here because it's kind of private, to be honest, but it just gets you in a good headspace. And at the end of the day, you kind of have to do your evening journal. And some of the questions it asks you are, a moment that I really appreciated today was. A situation or task I handled well today was. Something I realized or learned today was. I could have made today even better if I. Something that could have helped me feel more connected to others today would have been. So answering all these questions here just really gets you in a good place right before you go to bed. And I know some people look at this and think, well, that's like a lot of work. And it might feel like that right off the bat because you got to fill out all those questions. But doing this stuff every day, I kind of like look forward to it. And maybe at night, in the evening, right before I go to bed, sometimes I get there and I'm like, oh, I still got to fill out the journal. But it's kind of gotten to a next level where I know I have to fill out the evening journal. So I'm kind of already anticipating the questions. It's the same questions every day, by the way. So I'm already anticipating, what was a moment I really realized today while I'm like brushing my teeth, going to bed. And you just kind of prepare for that. Or even better, sometimes I'm in the middle of the day and something cool happens and I'm like, okay, I got to remember this to write it in the journal later. So it kind of gets you appreciating moments and recognizing moments as they're happening in the day, because you know you got to fill this out at the end of the day. So I kind of like that too. And then they have this daily habit scorecard at the bottom where you rank yourself based on 1 to 5 on clarity. I knew my why and lived intentionally today. Productivity, I worked on the things that mattered most today. So you'd rank that up between 1 to 5. And it's cool because you kind of rank your day and you just know how you felt. And sometimes you might have had a bad day, but when you look at, courage, I shared my real self, thoughts, and feelings today. That might be a 5. So, that's pretty ranked high. And you might realize, well, even though it was a bad day, I was still able to use some of these tactics. And yeah, it's been really good. Things like someone I could surprise with a note, gift, or sign of appreciation today. I found that was great. It got me reaching out to a lot of old friends and trying to connect with a lot of people more often, just purely because I've always said I've wanted to do it, and you never do it, but this just forces you to think of these things. And even my grandmother, because of this, I've really been making an effort to call her more frequently on a weekly basis. And she's been saying it's been making her day, and it just feels so good because I've always wanted to do that. And until I started writing this down and literally writing it in my daily schedule, call my grandmother, it's been so rewarding, and I've really loved it, to be honest. I highly recommend this. If you just kind of make the decision on your own, where you say, I'm gonna get this book and I'm gonna fill it out every day no matter what, I honestly feel like you'll see some serious changes. I'm not trying to sell this book at all. I'm just telling you it did that for me. And I'm really excited for kind of the second phase of my second book now, another 3 months. And I'm curious to see where that'll take me. I have a lot of goals of videos and content and music that I want to create. And I've always been nervous, but this almost feels like it's yourself pushing you to do things. And I know right now we live in a world where everyone's trying to hype people up and get motivated. And there's the whole thing of just being addicted to watching motivational videos. But this actually makes you do something. And you don't even have to be like an outgoing person or anything. This could purely be personal goals and accomplishments. And it just holds you accountable because you fill out this whole schedule every morning. And if you don't do this stuff, you just kind of feel bad for yourself because you knew you should have kind of done that. And I think it's good to not put too much pressure where if you don't hit everything hour by hour, I know people's lives change. So you don't have to get down if you don't really hit all of that, but just having the schedule hour by hour is unbelievable. I highly recommend it. I know I'm in a different position. I'm a musician. I'm home a lot of the day now. I used to be gigging 3 times a week and rehearsing twice. So I had a pretty busy, strange schedule. And I know people work 9 to 5, but I feel like you could just, fill in your day here, and then your extracurricular time, you can just really fill in with anything you've wanted to do. I really like that it says top 3 goals and priorities for the day and tasks that absolutely must be done today. I think that's very important because sometimes you're like, I've been needing to do this. And then when you plan it out for the week, you're like, okay, Thursday, this is getting done, and you'll get it done if you just do it, fill out the schedule and just make it happen. That's all I can say. And you can literally accomplish anything you've wanted to with this. Sorry, I don't really mean to sound like I'm all preachy. It's just, this actually really helped. It was so good. And I kind of sometimes talk to my friends who are maybe in a bit of a rut, and I'm just like, maybe try out this book because it forces you to put the pen to the paper and just collect your thoughts every morning before you start the day. It gets you in a good kind of frame of mind. And then at the end of the night, it just makes you really appreciate what you have and what the day brought to you. And yeah, that's kind of it. So I didn't really review the book. So I guess some things that stood out to me that were kind of strange was that, the schedule starts at 6 a.m. I know a lot of people have been mentioning that. My schedule definitely does not start at 6 a.m. Being a musician, I wake up at 9. I used to scratch out the numbers for the first 2 days, but then I just started working from 9 a.m. onwards. And it kind of worked. I put a lot of stuff in the notes area every day of just things that I might need to do the next day. I noticed there are things at the end of the week, you have a weekly life review. And I feel like a lot of this is really tied into the book that he wrote. For example, you have things, the high performance habits that you have to fill out at the end of the week. So that's maybe like another 15 minutes to invest in once a week. But it's great because you really assess your whole life. And it asks questions like, I was intentional in how I acted. They changed it. How I acted this week. On the old one I have, which must have been an older version, it said I was intentional in how I acted today. So this is clearly an updated version. And actually this looks pretty cool. So That's it. I highly recommend this if you're kind of down in the dumps a little bit and you just need some kind of motivation to get started on something, or maybe you don't feel like you want to get motivated, but you know you should. This might be the answer to what you're looking for, or it might not be. But if you grab this and even just get one good habit or one big change in your life or one small change, I feel like it was just worth it. And it really got me to do a lot of creative things this past month. And like I said, this YouTube channel alone has been a direct result of me forcing myself to do a video every week because of this book. So I highly recommend it. I'm going to put a link to the book below on Amazon. Sometimes they're kind of sold out and you got to get it a second party. I have no affiliate links or anything. It's just literally the genuine link to the book if you want to grab it. And yeah, I hope it helps you, and please let me know if you've used this book before. Please comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And I know there's a lot of other books too, like this, daily planners that ask different questions. Like I said, these are the same questions every day, but I kind of like it because you can anticipate what you're looking for every day. But I'd love to hear if you use another planner, or maybe there's one you think that's better than this one. I'd love to try it out. But for now, I'm sticking with this one. I'm doing another 3 months with it, and I can't wait to see what happens. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. I'd love to see you again for some of my future videos. And please share your stories below. Thank you so much for watching, and have a great day. Bye.